We are the sons and daughters of the soul. We are resilient and forever forward-thinking. We ask for nothing else than the opportunity to live and to create the lives that we were meant to live. We want nothing but an equal chance at options and possibilities. The same possibilities and options to live out our potential as our fellow man. We want to be heard, understood, and expressive in our reality. We are the future. We are the creative. We are here.
World Financial Group offers entrepreneurs from all backgrounds the opportunity to start their own business on a level playing field. Dr. Yana Woodhouse, receiving the WCM Wall Street Pioneer Award by the United Black Wall Street of America, Inc., is one of those entrepreneurs.
I see WFG and TFA as a place where African Americans with an entrepreneurial mindset can flourish. And the bonus, we help families and serve the communities across the country.
To learn more about us, go to worldfinancialgroup.com.
She was told that she couldn't play with the boys. She was told that they were too big, too rough, too strong. She was told to give up her dreams and move on. She was told to just be pretty, be quiet, be a lady. She was told that women had to stay on their side of the court, stay in your lane. Playing and competing with men was insane. She was told that men and women would never be equal. Dreaming like that would only be lethal to your mind, to your soul. She never listened. She knew that their thinking was old. She was magic. She is the definition of spirit. She is what champions are made of. She is now.
Greetings and welcome to Access Wealth Nation with Dr. Yana B. Woodhouse on the Soul City Network. And we are, of course, focusing in on your checkup from the neck up because we have to make a difference in this world. And the way we do it is to get ourselves some financial literacy. And that's so important. It's unfortunate that with the financial literacy, it is not taught in our schools. Schools started this week, and children are not taught how money works. And so, of course, you know, I'm all about bringing forth financial literacy into our community. And that's what it's all about. Because if we know better, guess what? We'll do better. And so to kick it off, we've got the How Money Works, Stop Being a Sucker book that's written by two of my partners, Tom Matthews and Steve Seabolt. It is now over 500 books that have been printed and distributed. We got a lot more work to do. So, of course, if you want a book, and many of you have definitely reached out, and I told you if you get the book, take a picture with the book even, so that to show that you are reading the book. And I think y'all been really wonderful in doing that. But all you have to do is send me an email at anajaenterprisesinc@gmail.com and say, I would love to get one of the books. Make sure you give me your address, because this is a physical book, not an e-book. So I need your physical address, but I will send it out to you without any cost. Just the fact that you have to promise me you're going to read it. And then if you'd like to share some comments on the book of what you've learned, because you are going to learn something. This is going to take you through a financial journey, things that are not taught in the schools, some of the basics that we need to know so that we can join the wealthy in this world. Also, if you don't have a plan, you know, I always say you plan to fail. So we will provide you with a free, no obligation financial analysis. All you got to do is call the office, 646 375-2121 and say, I'd like to have a free financial analysis. And after reading the book, we call that your discovery call. And what is a discovery call? It is where you are now and where you'd like to be, and we try to be as realistic as possible, but it's unfortunate in this world we stop dreaming. So the idea is to get you to start to dream again and to see where you really want to be. I know in these times it is very difficult. So much happening in our communities, so much happening in the country. You can't turn on the TV without hearing about some kind of massive shooting or some kind of issues that are going on. But we must stay steadfast and positive and know that this too shall pass. And we've seen it all. All sorts of things have happened, but we are a strong people. And I especially commend my ancestors who made it across the water and made sure that I stood on their shoulders so I can be able to assist you in this financial journey. So that being said, this is National Life Insurance Awareness Month. Yes, there is a month that is attributed to life insurance. Now, some people in our community say, well, life insurance, that means that's for anybody who is, if I die, somebody else is going to profit. That's only one type of life insurance. There are life insurance and the usage of life insurance to make it so much easier for you to build wealth. And the wealthy have been using it through the years continuously. But we don't know how to do that. Why? Because the insurance man comes to our door and he knocks and he gives us term insurance. That's like someone selling you rent. It's just a rental. You pay it every month and you're betting you're going to die. And the insurance company is betting that you're going to live. That's basically how that works. But living benefit of life insurance, there's so many things you can do with it and be able to produce your retirement, a child's education, building a home. You can answer your 7 money milestones, which some of y'all know what I'm talking about because it's in the book. Your 7 money milestones, getting yourself out of debt, being able to save for the future. And then last but not least, building a legacy so that we're not fighting at the end of the day to find out how much money somebody's going to leave me. It can all be written out, especially you need to have your will. So these are all the facets that life insurance policy can do for you. But the key is it doesn't mean a hill of beans if you don't bother to learn and listen. So to help you out for Life Insurance Awareness Month, my team decided to put together a day. And really it's an evening with me. And it's our Wealth Wave NYC group, How Money Works, through the How Money Works company. And we're celebrating Life Insurance Awareness Month. Now, I know this is going to sound strange to many and some not to others, but have you ever thought of being your own bank? Being able to build enough assets that you could borrow from yourself and pay yourself back? All about the living benefits of life insurance. So we're going to talk about that. And so you have the opportunity to join the event physically by coming to 116 West 23rd Street. Hey there, Yancy. Thank you for listening. And you can get on at 116 West 23rd Street on the 5th floor, and you can join us. We'll have a few refreshments, but you do have to register. And so there is a QR code there, but also just so that if you can't see it, it's a bit.ly. And the bit.ly is https:// and it's I'm getting ready to trouble bit.ly/BOWER BYOB hyphen 22. So that really stands for Be Your Own Bank. I had a little joke going on because people saw that BYOB and they thought, what kind of event is this? So that's going to be on the 15th of September for National Life Insurance Awareness Month. And we're going to talk about the opportunity. Now, also, those of you who are in different parts of the country and still want to participate, you can register because it's going to be a Zoom link and you'll have the opportunity to Zoom in and still hear what we're talking about. Of course, you're not going to be able to get any of the little door prizes, but that's okay. The door prize of all is the lesson that you learn in how money works and being able to change your family's legacy. So come join us and listen to how you can be your own bank and also the living benefit of life insurance. I look forward to meeting some of you. So please come out, register quick because the in-house on 23rd Street, that in the office, it's a limited amount of space, due to COVID. We're acknowledging social distancing, but we're not requiring you to show us anything because it's about really getting that information to you. But we're cautious and we respect that. But if you'd like to stay home in your PJs, it's at 6:30. You can still participate and learn. It's better to know now and learn now than to find out later what you shoulda, woulda, coulda. That's like the worst words in this world. So that being said, we have this wonderful event next Thursday. So it's also, as I'm understanding, Soul City Broadcasting will also be streaming it for us. And it will be on Facebook and on YouTube. So I'm trying to get to as many people. So don't keep this a secret. Don't be a secret agent holder. Share it. Let people know what's going on and let them tap into it so that they can learn too. When you get your yacht, you don't want to be out here with your yacht and only by yourself. You want to be able to have some other people around you. So that being said, share the news and it'll be all over. We're still advertising all over the place, but this is an opportunity to bring wisdom to our community. So I hope you take advantage of it. And that's being said, that's one event. So National Life Insurance Awareness Month is so important. And it is something that we need to know all the facets of how we can build wealth. And this is going to be one of those opportunities. So again, I say to you, don't miss out on it. Now, that being said, also just to reiterate is that this is the time schools open up. And we have a bad habit of spending. And yet we don't spend within our own community. So I will promote without a doubt that we need to pay attention to buy within our community. I had the honor of receiving the Wall Street Pioneer Award from Tulsa last year, Tulsa, Oklahoma, for the 100th anniversary. That was a great honor. The bigger honor is if I can get my folks to keep the dollar that the same way that Wall Street did. Black Wall Street, when they opened up their stores, $1 lasted in the community anywhere from 3 to 5 years. That meant that we bought amongst ourselves. We traded those dollars and was able to build our economy. Well, unfortunately, in our community today, $1 may last, if we're lucky, 40 minutes, if we're lucky. It's in and out, going to other communities. If we could just get it where we buy amongst ourselves and support each other. And that leads me to the next situation that we're opening up. It's not just African American to African American. Have you ever thought about how powerful this would be? Is that if all, and I'm going to call it from a Pan-African concept. If all Africans around the world utilized our buying ability and our business ability to trade amongst each other, how powerful would that be? We spent just here in the United States, $1.7 billion spent it. And the reason why I say spent, you all know what spent means. It's not coming back to you. We need to circulate that kind of money within our communities. But just think about that powerful element that we're trading amongst ourselves. So powerful. And so I'd like to introduce my guest today because he's bringing forth a concept and a thought, and then bringing it to reality on the 17th of September. So we got 2 events that you can go to get knowledge and to work with each other. So to explain everything, I'm going to have him join me right now. And so without further ado, I'd like to bring on Tony Abulu. I hope I said that right. Abulu?
Is it perfect? Perfect.
My dear
Perfect.
brother from
Thank you
another
very
mother.
much. Yes. Thank you very much, Yana, for inviting me to the program. And I want to thank Soul City Network. You guys are doing an amazing job, and people are watching you all over the place and learning a lot. Gaining knowledge that under normal circumstances you can't find anywhere else. And I'm so happy that when people get to know about your experience and your history, people will realize that you're doing them a great service and favor for bringing what you learned in extremely difficult circumstances about 36 years ago, and forced your way in such a way now that you're bringing that knowledge to our people free of charge and handing it out freely. And all we got to do is to step up and listen. I think I want to thank you for that. It's an amazing thing that you're doing.
Well, I'm glad to be able to do it because that's what I was brought here. I believe that every single one of us comes onto this earth. I'm a metaphysician, so I don't put no shame behind it. I believe that we come here with a mission. And I remember studying in Ghana, and they say, "Ahadi Abakoa Kwanu," so it is peaceful here. What's your mission?
Yeah.
And so I know my mission has to do with bringing this knowledge to my people. But I know also that I have a brother from another mother who is bringing that knowledge, and we're bridging. So there's an event, and I hope they put the flyer up. It is an event called Africa Expo USA. That's a powerful statement. And it's going to be an international conference where Africa meets America. And that says it all in business. That is so powerful. So that's the website. I think did he put it? No, Matt, you got an N in there. You got to take an N out. It's Africa Expo USA.
Yes, USA.com.
Right.
Yes.
Now, and in doing so, it's free. You don't even have an excuse. It's free. I know in economic times, it's difficult because, we've got this inflation thing going. We got the market going. We got the kids going to school. We got excuses. But this is something not to have an excuse on, because this is bridging the gap that we have, the overseas gap, where we can do business with each other and meet each other and network with each other and make a difference. Some people have tried to stop that from happening, but this is our time. And so, Tony, I want you to share the energy that you see. I'm all hyped up, but I want you to share the energy. It's going to be, I'm just going to reiterate, it is going to be fabulous because it's going to be at the Marriott Marquis in Times Square.
Yes.
And it's on September the 17th from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. That's a lot of time there. So tell us about this. I know that it's sponsored by Echo Bank
Echo Bank,
and,
yes.
and also powered by Blaze Channel.
Channel,
Okay,
USA.
Blaze Channel, blazechannel.com. So this is really awesome, off the chain. I know when I saw it, I said somebody put some serious thought through this,
Right,
and
exactly.
so what they say, they done put some skin in this game. So
Yes,
tell us
that's what
about
this game.
yes.
Yes.
So tell
Well,
us
thank
about
you very much, Dr. Yana. One of the things that we, as African folk, because we're all Africans, some are born in the U.S., some are born on the continent, but we're all Africans. The first
yes.
step that every single, we say, Black person has to understand is you limit your own self by extricating yourself from either the African American community or extricating yourself from motherland, which is Africa. And the reason why we call it the motherland is because that's where everybody comes from. As a matter of fact, right now, all the Chinese are coming in and saying, hey, we are from Africa ourselves. Our ancestors came from Africa. And you can't deny them because that's the truth. You see a lot of Caucasians coming in saying, hey, Tony, we are Africans too. And we left here and we went to Europe, but guess what? We're still Africans. So it's a little sad when we see our own people who were forcibly taken out for 400 years and went through the worst struggle ever any group of human beings ever went through. And some of them keep saying, no, I ain't no African. I'm blah, 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 blah. Now, let me tell you why it's important. We have to say all these things before we talk about what we have decided to do to empower ourselves. Firstly, why is it that the best land, the best climate is over there in Africa? Why? So the Almighty must have a plan. Some of us who are also Christians, we heard about the Garden of Eden. We heard about the fact that God created a place that was perfect. Best land, best plant life. You get sick, you just pull on a little leaf, you taste it, you're fine. And guess what? That is the bottom line. If you live in the US as a Black person, you live in Jamaica, or you live in Trinidad, or you live in the London, UK, and you do not take advantage of what Africa offers. This is not 1922, where you say, I can't go. You can get on a plane. I just came in from Nigeria just about 2 weeks ago. You can get on a plane and you can go to Africa. And so what we have decided to do before everybody says, okay, we're going to go back, we decided, let's bring Africa to the US for the first time in history. And when we say we're going to be communicating with Americans, we have a specificity. We're going to be communicating with African America, because African America is the reason why we can even come here. It's African Americans who did all the work. It's African Americans who sacrificed. It's on the shoulders of African Americans that continental Africans can step to the US. We come in and we're smiling, we're having a ball. But some people laid the track. Some people worked so hard. Some people suffered before we can come in and enjoy. We are standing on the shoulders of great African Americans, every single one of them who has sacrificed. There's not a single African American whose ancestor didn't suffer some sort of major tragedy. But today, we from the continent, we come in. And so the first thing I want to say is we want to say thank you very much. We don't realize the effort and the struggle that African Americans have gone through for 400 years in the United States of America. So for those of us who were born on the continent, and I've been here, I've lived here for almost 40 years, but I go back and forth almost 4 or 5 times a year. So we got to give something back. We can't just come in. We can't just come in and just benefit. We're working on Wall Street. We're working in this bank. We're working in Chase Bank, and we're making a lot of money. No. What do we give back to the family that struggled the family that laid the foundation for us to be able to be here. A lot of our children are in American schools. A lot of our children are in predominantly black colleges. We want to say thank you to the African American community. And for someone like me, who's also married to an African American for the past 35 years now, we know what we have gained and what we have benefited from that community. That's why we have decided to have this event, Africa Expo USA. And we've decided to do it in a place where people can come in and feel comfortable. And that's the Marriott in Times Square. Folks can come in all the way from Brooklyn. Folks can come from Harlem, can come from the Bronx, and everybody comes together. And what are we doing? Apart from celebrating who we are as a people, we are now taking it one step further. We want to make sure that every single Black family in America is empowered. First, by information, which is what you are doing, Dr. Woodhouse. This is what you're doing. This is what you have been doing for years. So we're taking a cue from you. We have to come and give the right information. Some people say, well, I want to go to Africa. I've done my DNA testing and I found out that I'm from Sierra Leone. But how am I going to go over there? I don't know anybody over there. That all has changed. So now when you come to the Africa Expo, you get people, you get to interact, you get to network, and we're making sure that the continental Africans that are coming, ambassadors, even a few presidents that are coming, all business persons that are coming from the continent are going to have a one-on-one opportunity to discuss with you any question you may have. And there is now I'm gonna release a little bit of benefit that a lot of people do not realize. If you're an entrepreneur in the US, I give myself as an example. When I came here, I was a young entrepreneur, almost about 40 years ago. And I struggled so hard. It's extremely difficult to create in America. Extremely. So I don't blame my brothers and sisters here when things are not moving as they're supposed to be moving. It's extremely difficult. It costs a lot of money just to rent an office, just to be able to hire staff and so on and so forth. But guess what? This is where the advantage is. In Africa, the labor is not as expensive. In Africa, you have a lot of people who are very well educated, who are willing to work so hard for you that you step in, they look at you like someone who is a benefactor, someone who's coming to help the continent, to help all the young people. So they're very serious about people coming in, and they would prefer that African Americans come in. And in Africa, they prostrate when they see you in the morning as their boss. They don't just say, hey, how you doing, man? What's happening? They go on the floor, they prostrate, which is a sign of respect.
Honor and respect.
Yes, that thank you very much. You making it possible for us to feed ourselves and our families. So they respect that. And so when African Americans come in to the continent, the continental Africans show the level of respect that you never imagined. So there's no reason why we should not go.
That's right.
The opportunities are there. You can create your products a lot cheaper, like maybe about 90% cheaper. Wow. You ship back into the US. You know the terrain in the US. And guess what happens? You move time here, and people are wondering how you did it. Just by creating T-shirts, just by creating traditional stoves, or even nature kill. Now that's an idea which is worth over $100 trillion in Africa. So because if you remember, 2 billionaires during COVID said they were scared that all continental Africans would be dying on the street. What happened? How many Africans died? Because God has some vested interest in Africa. That is the Garden of Eden. That's where the largest mineral resources in the world is. That's where you have the best. We don't have no winter. It doesn't exist. I can go around Lagos 365 days a year without a shirt. How else can you beat that? So all that to say, as a preamble, that we got to come together. The continental Africans can do it alone. And sadly, what has been happening is they come into the places like the US or they go into China and they're pleading for loans. This is disastrous. When African Americans spend, like you rightly said, $1.7 to $1.9 trillion a year as consumers, that has to stop. And we're always looking for jobs. My daughter graduated college in New York, and guess what? She says, Dad, I'm looking for work. I said, no, you're not. I have created that job for you. You don't have to go look for a job. So this is what I believe every parent, it is mandatory for every parent. If you bring a child into this world, you got to be ready to create opportunities for that child. That is
so powerful. That's powerful, yes. Tony, because yes. I remember in grad school, and it was a marketing class that I had to take. And I remember the professor came in and he said, how many of you are getting your MBA so you can get a good job? Raise your hand. And so I already had my business, my tax business at the time. So I was like, I ain't looking for no job. My dad told me he who writes the check is free. So I'm free. So he said, all of you who raised your hand, you might as well leave now. Because if you're a master creates jobs, creates businesses. They don't go around asking for one. And that's where we've faltered our children, because we're still telling them that quintessential lie. And it even starts, I'm sure today when they started school, they said, what do you all want? Who do you want to work with? What do you want to be? Not what business you want. Who do you want to work for? And unfortunately, that's what I'm totally against. I said, now there's got to be people who do work, and I do agree. But those of us who have ideas and thoughts and making difference, I never forget John Lucas said it. Not John, listen, George Lucas. George Lucas said it so well. He says, what can you do at 7 o'clock in the morning and still be doing at 7 o'clock in the evening and haven't even gotten up to eat? That's your passion. Take that passion and find somebody who's going to pay you for it. So that's what I'm so excited about this expo, because I know I'll get a chance to meet people from different thoughts, different powers, different places, but they're going to look like me. It's like when we went to Senegal this year, it was so empowering to look at the advertisements on the billboards. And they all looked like me. You know, I could relate to them. Exactly. And you don't mind spending, you know. The key is that from one coast to the other, we have to change. I teasingly told this young man, wherever he is, God bless him, he was a student at Hunter College, and he said he loves science. I said, can you do me a favor? And I'll even invest in it. But can you get and create a pill that will give all people of color a lobotomy and clean our brains so that we would be willing to work with each other, help each other? And again, you know, I have to pay tribute to those whose shoulders I stand on and those that reached back and got me and said, you can do it. You can do it. Even those days, I praise Dr. Ben, Dr. Clark, Dr. Jeffries out there, my teachers, who during that Saturday at First World Alliance made it possible so that I wouldn't do something stupid when I got back to the office in Wall Street. Yeah. These are the things that are so important, but definitely I'm in agreement. I'm excited. You know, there are areas I saw here, you have it as in business, creative industry, networking. All of that's going to take place in that time span.
Yeah.
Okay, I got the question for you, brother.
Okay.
How are you going to get these folks to talk to each other,
Well,
interact? You know what happens is we have a tendency to prejudge,
yes, and
just
be
like
aloof.
the other colonial people, and
Yes.
we prejudge. So, how do we get around that?
Well, if you remember when we first met, Dr. Ayana, we came to an event that you came to as well. And within
Mhm.
2 seconds, a gentleman came to us and we spoke. And before he knew was, he said, "Oh, you got to meet Dr. Ayana Woodhouse." And he went and brought you. Same way. Anybody. That's why you have to understand why you go to an event. You're going there for a purpose. So if you go to an event, if you're going to an event just to go eat rice and chicken, you're still going to discuss with the person serving the rice and chicken, won't you? You'll say, well, how come you're serving only one piece of chicken when everybody's getting two, right? So you're going to communicate. In Africa, we communicate. We communicate so well that when we communicate, we sing. Mama kini ko. And we gesticulate. Nobody's just mute. You got to, it's part of like words. Everybody's a wordsmith in any language. You know
That's
what I
true.
mean? So
Mhm.
that is intrinsically African. That's why African Americans sometimes may not understand why they are the best in music, why they are the best in dancing, why Michael Jackson is the best in the world. It is because it comes from your DNA.
Mm.
Your DNA is African. And by so doing, you got to claim what it comes with. It comes with rhythm.
Yes.
That's why when you see an African or an African American or someone from the Caribbean play any music and see them groove to the music.
Everybody swings. You can't
Everybody,
help it.
and they swing to the beat. Some people don't swing to the beat. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But it is intrinsically African. And so God has given you a special gift, a special blessing. You're going to be performing an injustice, not take advantage of it. So Africans don't sit aloof. It is the bourgeoisie that try to do that, the elites that try to do that. Africans
Mhm.
interact. As a matter of fact, in those days, nobody went hungry. If you're hungry, all you had to do was stroll to the neighbor's house and say, well, I haven't eaten and I'm hungry.
Mhm.
Guess what? They will
You get
never
fed.
eat and not give you food. If they don't have the food, they're going to say, we're coming. They go back into the apartment. You think they're going to go get the food. They've gone behind the house to the neighbor to go get some food and come
Get
back
some
and
food.
serve you food. These are African, true African values. And
And
that we
that's
want to
true to what
inculcate.
we do. This is the same as what we did in the South. You know, my
Exactly.
parents come from Mississippi. If somebody come by, you had to offer them something, you know,
Exactly.
and it's true. We share. So
We
I see
share.
we're going to pull this together, you know, share information because that's the other thing is we
Yes.
have to be informed, you know, and what you know then I know. If I don't
Yes.
share it, then you know it doesn't go any further. So
Even
it has to be.
even in the science of business, let's even get to business now. In the science of business, you can make no money if there's no community. You're going to buy the product and buy the product yourself. You need people to support you in
Yes.
order for you to be successful. So the philosophy of business says there has to be a community. What we have failed to do, maybe not of our own doing, is the community is fragmented in such a way that because of the history and the turbulence, everybody begins to think about self. It is totally an apathy to the African personality. You cannot just think about yourself. You got to think about the community, how it benefits the community. And if you, like you rightly said, Dr. Ayana, in the South, which is closer to Africa, that culture still exists.
Yes.
And when we begin to say we want to be like everybody else now, then we start thinking as individuals. And when you think as individuals, then your community dies. Your children can't get jobs. Then they're going to be discriminated against because now they got to take care of their own children before they take care of you. And that's why we got to be so understanding of the philosophy of business. It can't work if we're separate. It can only work if there's a community. And guess what? The community expands. When people see a group of people in Harlem thriving, everybody wants to come there from all over the world. And that's what America does. America has so created its society in such a way that everybody wants to come here. And when you ask people, and when you ask people from outside America, why do you want to go to the US? They don't talk about Wall Street. They talk about the music. They talk about the dance. They talk about the flair. Oh man, the Americans got a flavor. The way they speak. Guess what? All that comes from the Black community. So we got to take advantage of our strengths. And on this particular day, anybody who misses it is like missing Christmas. You know what I'm saying? You've got to come in. You got to interact. There's no shame in it. There's nothing. Nobody's going to ask you about your education. Nobody's going to ask you your accent is this or that. No. What we're going to say to you is, what do you want to know about Africa? Well, they told me that Nigerians, my sister was going to get married to a Nigerian, and I'm scared because they say the Nigerians are blah, blah, blah. So, yeah. Have you ever been to Harlem Hospital? 2/3 of the doctors there, medical doctors, are Nigerians.
Wow.
Aha. Have you ever been to Harvard and go check the number of PhDs that are Nigerians? Have you ever seen Tony Abulu, who has been married to a sister for 35 years? Aha. So don't believe the hype. As a matter of fact, when I first came to this country, I'm going to let you into a secret. One of the first friends I got was a very pretty young Caucasian girl. And guess what? And she says to me, Tony, I think we should get married. And without even thinking, I said, if I marry you, you're my very good friend, I love you to death. But if I marry you, who's going to marry all those sisters in Harlem?
Thank you.
and she looked at me initially upset, but eventually she said, I understand. I said, with the kind of education, with the kind of background that I have, the kind of information I have, I'm going to have to pass it in the community. I can't just pass it to just one person. I have to pass it to, and that was 40 years ago. And I'm saying to you, what we need to do, there's so much that we have to do. All our children, we can't just believe that our children are going to get jobs. The world is getting a lot more difficult. Even MBAs are camping outside Wall Street and for days and asking that they must get jobs. And those guys don't look like you and I. And they were host out of the space. What then do we have if those guys don't get the opportunity? We have to create. And the days are gone where we have to beg. You don't have to beg. We have so much talent within the community. Unfortunately, we don't know how to monetize it. Well, on Saturday, the 17th, we're going to find out how to monetize the African, quote
and
unquote.
That's what we need so much, is to be able to, because we do know, we will make some money, little money. And that's the other thing, is we need to expand our thoughts of what real money is. What is it? and what currency really is, and
Yes.
what credit lines are.
Yes.
The power behind. You don't have to have the dollar, because the dollar, as quiet as it kept, isn't really
Yes.
worth anything. You've got to be able to say where we could, and that's part of our ancestry. I will never forget one of the lessons when I went through rites of passage was that there was a time that we would put something by the roadside that we created, and then someone would come and they would take the cowrie shell or whatever they thought and put there and take it. And we didn't have a problem with it because that's what they felt it was worth, and we got beyond that. And we do have to, I think once we talk to each other and realize that we're the same. When I was in Senegal, when I was in Ghana, as long as I kept my mouth shut, nobody knew where I was from.
Of course, nobody's going to.
When I opened up the mouth is when they were like, "Oh, sister."
Exactly.
Where are you from?
Yes. If you come into Lagos, they're going to say you're from. This is an Igbo lady. Oh, that lady's Igbo, right? Now allow me to interject this.
Mm-hmm.
You see those products that are left on the street, and somebody comes, there's nobody there. You see and you want it. So they'll count number of stones. They'll put right in front of the yam. You'll see 4 pieces of stone. And so that means you're going to put 4 pieces of cowrie shell when you want to pick it up. There's nobody there. There's no interaction. Do you know why that's so? Let me tell you why it's so.
Why?
Our spirituality is not what we have today. What we have today is fake. Because nobody really believes in a heaven. If I say, where's the heaven? Oh, it's up there. There's no up and there's no down. So where's the heaven? What are they doing in heaven now as we speak? Are they eating? Are they nude in heaven? Do they have clothes? Do the clothes have pockets? Do they put money in the pockets? It's an illusion to us. We sing a lot of songs. We go to church, we pray, we go to the mosque, but we do not believe it. The continental Africans that go to pick up that tuber of yam, he's seen about 4 ancestors sitting right there. So he doesn't just do it because it's nice. He knows that those ancestors, those spirits, will accompany him home and make sure he pays for stealing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's why, and that's what we have lost. So I don't really believe that there's one religion is different from the other. We all are looking towards an almighty creator. And trust me, everybody got all that concept from the Africans, because it's the Africans that started all that concept of one creator. So and ways of worshiping that creator. Thousands and thousands and thousands of years before anybody thought about anything in Greek language. We the pharaohs knew all this. So we want to begin to look at ourselves, even if not for ourselves alone, our children.
Yes.
An African philosophy says, if you have children, you got permission from God to get children. If you get those children, it's one of the worst sins on the planet that you could ever make to abandon that child.
Oh, definitely.
You're going to be asked about that child. The child didn't come to the world by themselves. You brought that child. The child is your responsibility. It's an African knowledge. Of course, Africa is beginning to lose its knowledge because they're trying to act like foreigners. But trust me, when you give birth to a child, there's a ceremony that they go through, call on all the ancestors, call on everybody, the whole community comes, and they welcome that child to the world. There's no way you're going to abandon those children in jail. There's no way you're going to abandon those children in jail. There's no way you're going to see those children shooting and killing themselves and say nothing. That's why you are African. Not because we're already over 1 billion people in Africa. We're not saying it because we need some people to come and claim to be African. No, we're saying it because it's the truth. You are African. You're blessed specially. Then you must be extremely stupid if you don't take advantage of the strengths that God has given you. You
But
start,
the
it's
first
difficult.
thing, how do we get ourselves, what I see, and I'm looking forward to this event because
Yes,
I want us to love us, to
yes,
love us for who we are.
yes.
We go to, like you said, there's churches, there's political organizations that we trying to be, I hate to put it this way, but dark-skinned white people.
Yes.
Okay. And that's not who we are.
No.
We have a spirit in us, not saying anybody else don't have spirit, because you got the breath in you, but we have not lived up to our capabilities.
At all.
And that's where I feel that's hell. That's the hell. Because until we live up to the abilities of what we can, stop asking somebody else for permission to be who you are,
Yes.
and be who you are, and stop. And what is it? They say, be still and know that I am God. Be
Yes.
still and listen to what your mission is so that you can be about it. I see so much, and I saw so much when I got to Wall Street. My first time when I got hired at 2 Wall Street, and my mother said, "Is that really what you want to do?" And I said, "No, it's what I have to do because my people are not able to invest the same way as the people that are on Wall Street. They keep getting turned away. So I got to go find out how they get to do the same, because we all need to be able to take a part of this." So when you look at that, and I never forget her words to me to this day, I still hear her say, "You're going in the belly of the beast. Make sure that you can sleep at night, and make sure you do what's right. As long as you do that, you'll never have any trouble. But don't go against that principle." That's our legacy.
That's a legacy right there. Yes. Yes. So I first of all, I can't say thank you enough because I know the history. I studied under Dr. Ben. I studied under Dr. Jeffries and Professor Smalls and everybody, Professor Scobie. I used to be a publisher for 20 years in the US of a Pan-African magazine. The times are getting a lot more difficult.
Yeah.
The time, if you can't read the signs, the times are getting extra. As a matter of fact, in Africa now, Africa is dying. Africa is dying. In the next 20 years, any African American that decides they want to go to Africa, when they walk into any African bank, they're not going to see someone that looks like them in the next 20 years.
We could change that.
We could change that. And that's what we're trying to change. Because what's happening is, because African Americans have not been embraced by the continental Africans, because of that division that we have between us, the artificial division. Africa now goes begging. Africa now goes begging. Presidents of Africa now go begging in China. And so what happens is the Chinese say, okay, you want some money? You want $1 billion to take care of your needs and so on, agriculture, blah, blah, blah. We'll give you $1 billion. But guess what? If you default on the loan, we're going to take your airport. If you default on the loan, we're going to take your seaport. And the Africans are gleefully signing, and none can repay. And the agreements are all 20 years. So when African Americans decide to, after enjoying themselves in the US, and decided, wait a minute, I just did my DNA testing. My ancestors are from Gabon. And let me go check it out. Because my ancestors are rolling their graves that you can't afford $1,000 ticket. After we were taken in the belly of ships to come to the new land, you can go in an air-conditioned plane to come back and spiritually satisfy that separation. You can do what Alex Haley did. You want to sit in one place and your ancestors are looking at you that 20 million of us died in the Atlantic Ocean. You don't want to go back because you think that you're a fly. Guess what? When you finally do, or your children finally do, the person they're going to be talking to, his name is not going to sound African.
Yeah, that's not good.
So, for many reasons, African Americans and continental Africans don't need anybody. Don't need a dime from no community. They're begging right now in Africa because they don't know the worth of the African Americans. They don't have a clue.
So this is the thing that's going to bring it together. So
this is the expo for the first time in history that's going to bring everybody together. And when we come together, we come together, it's not coming together just for dancing. There's no dancing. It's coming together to say, listen, I got a cup of beans. What do you have? So, well, guess what? I have a cup of rice. Why don't we team together and sell rice and beans? As opposed to selling only beans or selling only rice. It is a network that has never, ever, and I've lived in this country 40 years, a network that has never, ever happened. This is the first time you're going to see African ministries of trade in a room that are saying to you, we guarantee you, if you want to partner with us or with this gentleman or this beautiful lady that's here, we're going to make sure that it works as a government. And that's why I made it free.
That is so awesome. I can't, you say to me, I can't say more thank you to you. I'm going to hopefully producer can put the flyer back up. I want everybody that hears from the sound of my voice and those that will, as usually, listen to me later, is that on the 17th of September, this month, at 10:30, because you got to get there to make sure that you get the whole event. So 10:30, well, my mom and dad always told me to be on time was to be 30 minutes early. Yes. So you got to get there and experience what you're going to experience for the first time, but not the last time.
Definitely.
And so it's necessary for you to come out. It's going to be at the Marriott Marquis, Times Square. It's going to be at the Astor Conference Room. Astor Conference Room.
Astor, right.
Yes, which is interesting because the Astors have a bit of a history also. But the Astor Conference Room, and you're going to look for Africa Expo USA. And so I am so thankful to my brother for coming on to Access Wealth Nation, because that's what we're about. We are accessing the wealth nation, and you can't do it without Mother Africa. And we have turned our back many a times on Mother Africa, and now she's just pissed at us, and we going to definitely bring her to the point of letting her know that we love her and that she loves us. Yes. And that we can work together. And again, it doesn't have to take centuries to happen. It just took one man's vision that was given by the grace of God and our ancestors. Yes. And here is your sister who is here to hold you up when you get tired,
Thank you
Okay,
very much. Thank you.
because we've
Thank
got
you.
to do this. And so our time is up. I hate this, but I'm looking forward to the 17th of
Yes.
September at, like I told y'all, 10:30. It's 11 o'clock started. We ain't talking about no CP time. We talking about time. Okay. So you want to get there. You want to register. You have to register. How do they go on the site to
Yeah, they go on the
register?
site. Yes, just register. It's your name, your
Register.
phone number, your address. Yeah, that's it. And then you step
Okay.
in. Yes.
And then I'm giving y'all a little secret. I'm going to be one of the panelists.
Yes.
So
Yes. I
I'm
was
going to
about to
be
say that.
there.
Yes. Yes.
And my brother Matt is going to be on another panel. We're
On the
going
creative
to
industry
share our
panel.
knowledge.
Yes. Yes.
Share our knowledge. And Brother Tony, thank you so much. This is Tony Abulu, and
Yes.
we want and I want you all, I don't care what y'all got planned on the 17th, stop it. Come out, show your face, be a part of this phenomenal event. And you will be able to say where your children's children will say that my great grandmother and father were present when this first started. So
Yes.
we want that, where a man who had an idea has now turned it into changing our world.
Yes.
So, brother, thank you so much. I appreciate you. You are listening to Access Wealth Nation with Dr. Yana B. Woodhouse on the Soul City Network, along with also being viewed and listened to on WHCR 90.3 FM, the voice of Harlem. So thank you so much for watching. Make sure you make it to these events. If you're not sure, go on our website at Access Wealth Nation or Soul City, or go to the website of Africa Expo USA and get the information. And if you're not in New York, it's okay. There's a thing called trains, planes, boats.
Exactly.
You get there. Okay. You be blessed, and everyone have a good night. And I know you learned something tonight.
Thank you very much.
She was told that she couldn't play with the boys. She was told that they were too big, too rough, too strong. She was told to give up her dreams and move on. She was told to just be pretty, be quiet, be a lady. She was told that women had to stay on their side of the court, stay in your lane. Playing and competing with men was insane. She was told that men and women would never be equal. Dreaming like that would only be lethal to your mind, to your soul. She never listened. She knew that their thinking was old. She is magic. She is the definition of spirit. She is what champions are made of. She is magic.
Thanks again, brother.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Where's Matt?